grabbed attention. And so there's bits and bobs like that. In regards to what we've got on the actual Evolve show tonight, I don't know that, again, I've seen anything. Sometimes Mr. Stone puts something out. Robert Stone puts something out. So let me just see if I can go onto his account and see if he's actually got some sort of video. It's a bit of a shame, to be honest with you, that it's him that's putting stuff out and not like WWE that's putting something out. But we do have something here. Let's jump over and just have a look and see what... Because there's nothing on like the website. So I don't have any like official preview. This is our official preview right here. So let's check this out and see what they've got on deck for us tonight.
I'm Robert Stone.
And I'm Blake Howard.
And this is your weekly WWE Evolve Tubi teaser.
Rob, ever since the beginning of Evolve, really, Wendy Choo has made her mark in the women's locker room. Even had that last woman standing match against Kylie Ray, making Evolve history. And tonight, she looks for another victim on her list in the form of Carly Bright.
Plus, WWE Evolve Women's Championship on the line. Kylie Armstrong defends against this one, Jin Tala. Hey, it's yours.
You know what rhymes with gin? Win. And that is exactly what I'll do tonight. Kylie Armstrong, she's old news. Because Jin Tala, is going to be the next Evolve Women's Champion.
Some strong words from the challenger right there, Rob. Catch it tonight, 8 p.m. on Tubi.
Let's never do that again. Let's never do you know what rhymes with gin? Win. So does bin, but I mean, you know, man, I know it's Evolve, and part of the joy of Evolve is looking at people finding their way. But I mean, when she comes in, like, there's just a lack of presence here for me. That she needs to work on. She looks, it's like she's still delivering the lines in like a rehearsal rather than like really taking that moment to stare at the camera, deliver the lines, show some intensity kind of in the facial expression, like staring at the camera. It's still a bit it's like it's not punching across. This is interesting though, because this is why we watch Evolve, to just sort of see where they are in their development. And I don't know much about Jin Tala, like her in the ring a lot. I am a signed up member to, you know, her succeeding and moving forward. But it's just interesting that her promos seem to be a bit of a struggle. So let's just watch that a bit again.
It's yours.
You know what rhymes with gin? Win. And that is exactly what I'll do tonight. Kylie Armstrong, she's old news. Because Jin Tala, is going to be the next Evolve Women's Champion.
There's a pause at the end there that's like, is that good enough? The way she delivers the lines at the end, she's like, I'm going to be Evolve Women's Champion. Is that all right? Is that, yeah? Okay, thank you. Do you know what I mean? Rather than it being like, bang, bang, bang. So, there we go. Well, look, we've got a Women's Evolve Championship match that's going to be going down tonight, which should be good. Looking forward to that. I think last week, didn't we have Sean Legacy in action? He was taking on Keanu Carver last week. I think we had Jack Cartwheel, and it just felt like a week where not loads went down, but it feels a little different this week. It feels like we might have something that we can get our teeth into. So obviously don't expect Jin Tala to win. I'm thinking Kylie Armstrong gets the job done. But to be honest with you, I don't know, in regards to that at what point do we move people on? Because Kylie's good, and she could go to NXT. I mean, if they took the belt off her because they want her for NXT, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be, like, you know, surprised. So, I mean, I'm thinking that it's going to be a case that she's going to get the job done tonight, Kylie. But equally, she's got all the tools to kind of go and make her way to NXT. So, I don't know, we haven't really experienced that yet. We don't really know at what point they have or how long people carry belts for. How long do people stay in Evolve? Because really, if they're ready for NXT and NXT's got a place for them, you'd think we'd move them quite quickly. I don't think people are going to stay in Evolve all that long. I don't think people are going to be here for years. I don't think they're going to be like in Evolve for 2 years or something like that. you can be in a NXT for 2 years, but I don't think you're going to be in Evolve for that amount of time. So we haven't quite worked that out yet. We haven't quite figured out like how long is the shelf life of an Evolve talent in Evolve. So, but I expect Kylie to get the job done tonight. Right, Hasib, hello. Hasib said, Daze, if Cross is leaving, that means that only 4 people Triple H brought back would remain, and 2 of the 4 only came back after this year's Mania, said Hasib. Interesting. Brony said, Gintala sounds a little robotic. It's like she doesn't even believe what she's saying. She does need work on promos, but that's why she's in Evolve, so I can't bash her too hard. Oh, no. You're absolutely right. It's not about bashing. It's not about bashing. It's not about bashing at all. It's about us. This is why I love Evolve. People ask, why do you watch Evolve? And it's like, well, we get to see such high level performance. You know, we get to see promos that are like really good. I mean, look at the lines that Becky was coming out with on Monday, and like we get to see some really great in-ring work. I mean, we've been treated to some really good stuff this weekend. I think people really enjoyed John and Cena kind of, you know, delivering easily his best match so far this year. Punk, Gunther, really enjoyed that, and you know, we've been getting some really good stuff. So, you know, it's nice to go down and see like how hard it is you have to work and how much you have to actually learn, and like how they can make it look so easy on the main roster. They can make it look so easy, and then you kind of go down to this level and you go, oh yeah, no, it is actually not that easy. These are skills that you do need to develop. So it's really interesting to watch people kind of, I suppose in a way, it's like a glimpse into the performance center. That's the best way I could view or word Evolve. It's like a real glimpse into people that are learning. It's your glimpse into the PC to see them learning, really. It's just we don't, unfortunately, get to see the coaching side. They do show you that on LFG. But the problem, well, I don't know that it's the problem. I've never seen LFG. But what I would say is the problem with LFG is it's not like real in the sense of, you know, Undertaker isn't there day in, day out being a coach. Bully Ray's not there that day in, day out being a coach. So they're only there to provide some star power for the show. I would much rather see what an actual coaching session is like, you know, with Matt Bloom, with the actual Terry Taylor, with the actual coaches, Norman Smiley. These are the actual PC coaches. That, you know, it'd be really interesting to actually see that, rather than bringing in Michelle McCool and bringing in Undertaker. And I get that they have to do that to make the show, you know, have some star power. But, their feedback is, well, I don't know. I'd imagine it's still amazing and very insightful, but it'd just be interesting to know what the actual coaches were feeding back, you know? So, oh, yeah, no, never bash him. Just really interesting. David said, don't know if we saw, but Peacock is the front runner to get TNA and AAA. If you was Peacock, would you sell Saturday night's main event to Disney, ABC, ESPN, says David. Honestly, I don't know, because I don't quite know how all those network things work. So my understanding is that, wasn't it part of the SmackDown deal on USA Network that we'll get SmackDown and we'll pay you this much money, but we want 4 TV specials a year to kind of boost our weekends. So USA Network gets SmackDown, but they also get these 4 TV specials. This is why it's not on Netflix internationally. It's why it's on YouTube internationally. So it's not part of the Netflix kind of international deal. They don't get those shows. And I think that's partly to do with the fact that it's on, you know, whatever platform it's on. My understanding is it was part of the SmackDown negotiation. So I don't know, it's hard for me because I don't know who owns what. I don't know who Peacock have got and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not sure. I think that was part of this. My understanding is it was part of the SmackDown deal. So my understanding is that will just continue until the SmackDown deal expires. In regards to the other stuff, like the Peacock stuff or the PLEs, that's obviously going over to ESPN. That was announced today, $29.99. It's not been fantastically received, as you can imagine. There's just there's nothing good there, is there? I mean, in America, you're going to have to pay more. And that's that. So, you know, they've tried to spin it in a positive way. It's hard because on the one hand, they've got to sort of let you know that they are moving, because they've got to tell you, because obviously you've got to start planning, maybe start saving. You know, you need to know you're going to need to pay more for the pay-per-views. I mean, this is a big deal in America. So you've kind of got all that going on. So they've got to tell you, but there's no real positive way of spinning the fact that you are now going to have to pay more. So they're just having to come out with waffle. They're just going to have to come out with like nonsense of, this is an amazing opportunity for pro wrestling. This is an amazing opportunity for WWE. You know, for the business, for pro wrestling, not so much for the fans, but, you know, and they're just having to kind of come out with stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know, man. This on the back of the Brock Lesnar stuff, it's a bumpy... Might as well get anything else out. If there's any other bad news, I wonder if that's why they've chose now. Do you think they've chose now for a reason? I wonder if they've kind of gone, should we just get the news out now? Because everyone's talking about Brock and they're, you know, debating that, should we just get this out as well? Rather than the whole Brock thing settling down and then we drop this news, let's just get it out now. The timing is quite interesting, I think. I'm not saying that they have done it or released the news for that reason, but I do think the timing is interesting. Jay Moore, shout out to you, my friends. Kader said we're effed in America for PLEs. Well, I mean, $29.99 a month is... I mean, you can't escape the fact that's a commitment, isn't it? I mean, I think it was $9.99, was it not, for Peacock? And then before that, it was $9.99 on the WWE Network. So, I mean, you've got to go all the way back to before 2014. I mean, to my knowledge, unless anyone can tell me different, you have not had to pay more than $9.99. Maybe the network towards the end went $10.99 or $11.99, but you haven't had to pay any more than that since before 2014. And now the streets are saying that this new ESPN platform, whatever it's going on to, it's going to be $29.99. And listen, I don't know what that means for this channel. I don't know what that means for WWE viewership. I just don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm fortunate I'm in the UK, so I don't have that price rise. But make no mistake about it, I'm pretty sure that at some point in the near future, they're going to find a way of getting more money out of me. And I'm sure that there'll be some sort of change that happens where I might end up in a boat similar. But right now, you know, we're eating really good in the UK because Netflix has got NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and the PLEs all for, you know, your $9.99 or whatever, however much you pay. So, I mean, UK, I just get that. This is why there's a lot of people talking about just VPN and just go and get UK Netflix. And then you've got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the PLEs. So I think a lot of people might be looking into that, to be honest, because it doesn't really make much sense, does it, to be paying all the stuff you're paying? I mean, even if you have to pay for the VPN and you have to pay for Netflix, and that's going to cost you, let's say, I don't know, $20, $25, something like that. That does mean then that you don't need, you know, the CW network. You don't need USA Network. You don't need Netflix. You don't need ESPN. Like, I think someone added it all up and it came to like $90 odd to watch everything across all the different platforms. So $90 odd, whereas in the UK it's just all on Netflix. So I mean, we are eating real good. I am very aware of how fortunate we are over here, but it just sucks, doesn't it? It just sucks. Just add it to the list. I just did a really interesting chat with LS Dub, a community member, mod on the channel, someone that's been with the channel since 2019. And he was saying that he's been struggling a bit recently with just stuff that's been going on in WWE. Just a few bits this year that have just like left a bit of a sour taste in the mouth. And how ironic that we'd arranged to have that conversation on the day that WWE announced this news as well. So It's just another one where I think some wrestling fans are going to be feeling a bit of bit winded. Because, listen, there's going to be people out there that just genuinely are not going to be able to afford this. There's going to be fans out there that are now genuinely questioning if they're going to get a chance to watch these shows. Because that's a price rise, isn't it? I mean, there's people that are struggling financially, so I don't know, man. It's not good news, is it? There's certainly no positive spin on this. But hope everyone's had a good day, said Nathan. Dormouse, shout out to you. Let's go down. Daze, I've been thinking of going to that Raw show in Birmingham. Do you think it's worth £200? I rarely go to shows, but it's rare they come to England for those live shows. I do think it's worth £200, yes. That would not put me off from going because, well, I suppose in a way it depends on your situation. The Birmingham show in August, they're going to be coming from the NEC in Birmingham. Birmingham, of course, the home of Ozzy Osbourne, and he played that room, I believe, many times. That room is where I went to my first house show to watch WWE in the early 90s. It's where I went to see my first gig in the mid 90s, and that room has got many memories for me. And, to see WWE hold a Raw there, I was tempted to go, honestly, for a bit. I was like, I can't believe they're doing Raw there. They have done Raw there before, but not for a long time. Whenever they do Raw in the UK, it's always London. It's always O2. Sometimes Manchester. I think, didn't they do a Glasgow when we were doing Clash in Scotland or whatever? So, yeah, it's rare, very, very rare for them to do Birmingham. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I decided against it. My first thought is always to kind of do the stream and be here with you guys. But for me personally, if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't even question it. It would not even be a doubt in my mind. I would go £200. It's a lot of money. But to be honest, I think the way I would think about it is that you spend that to go to like a high end. You'd spend that to see Beyonce. You'd spend that to go and see Taylor Swift. I had to spend more than that to go and see Oasis. So I would sort of treat it like that this was a major gig, a major night out. Gone, unfortunately, are the days where you could go to a WWE show like that and it not be a consideration of like, God, of course I'm going. Back in the day, you could have gone to Raw, could have gone to SmackDown, tickets, 30 quid, 50 quid to sit, at the back. Whereas now I'm not sure that you can get in for, those prices anymore. So yeah, 200, it is a lot of money, and those are probably not even going to be great seats. But no, I wouldn't really think twice about that, to be honest. I think if you've got the money and, you sort of view it as a Beyonce gig, an Oasis gig, like something truly special, something that's like, well, yeah, if I go to that and then don't do anything else this year, then that's fine. I would view it along those lines. So yeah, I would. But then I've got a lot of memories, haven't I, as I said, about that space, about that room. It's going to be at the NEC, which is this big exhibition place, literally just over the road from the airport. You've got the airport, and there's like a bridge that connects over to the NEC, and the NEC is huge. Like, I think there's like 20 halls, massive halls. They do all the Comic Cons there, and they do like good food show there, and caravan con, where they show off all the new caravans. I think they even did like the Arnold Classic there, where like the bodybuilding fitness kind of stuff. Crufts, which is like a big dog show that's on TV, that's held there. And so it's this big exhibition place with all these massive halls, but they do have this arena there as well. That's a pretty big arena. I think it's like 15,000. So they do have this arena there, and I don't know when the NEC opened. It was some point in the 80s, I think. And as I said, I've been going since the early 90s. And I think the last time I went was to a toy fair. I did a toy fair last year went to like a toy fair and picked up a few wrestling figures. But yeah, no, I wouldn't think twice, honestly. I think it'd be really good. David said, welcome to the death of the American WWE viewer. Well, it's honestly, I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with people that join us, because I think I do this day in, day out, and we have conversations where people say quite regular, God, it just doesn't feel as good as recent years and all that sort of stuff. And so even before SummerSlam, there was people that were saying things like SummerSlam's going to need to deliver in order for this year to be saved in a way, right? I think there's been a lot of shows that people have felt have been quite skippable. I don't think people have felt as engaged with the product. I'm talking big picture. I'm not talking individual. I'm talking like the majority of feedbacks that I see. These are the kind of comments that I hear, right? And these are the things I read, that people saying that maybe they just don't feel as engaged in 2025. But, then, of course, you add in the return of Brock Lesnar, which was very controversial. And then you've now gone and announced that next year PLEs are going to be moving to ESPN. They're going to be $29.99. And then you can add into the pot as well about the whole Carrion thing, which I think Heyman spoke about. And Heyman said it reminds him of the kind of Stone Cold like movement. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Carrion, but the fact that Heyman was asked about it on Ariel Helwani and compared him to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, I said the other day, this doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right. I just don't believe that we're about to let this guy go with the amount of support that he's enjoying on social media, whatever. But I've still not heard any word on that front at the moment. So, Paul Heyman comparing him to Stone Cold. WWE about to let their next Stone Cold go. Because that's kind of what Heyman's just compared him to. So I don't know what the flip's going on there. I don't know what the hell's going on there. As I've said before, I'll be surprised if his contract is genuinely allowed to expire. I will be really, really surprised. But don't let me saying that put you off or deter you from tweeting We Want Cross, buying his book, buying his merch, supporting him. Get behind him and support him, definitely. But yeah, don't know. It's just crazy. It's just a bonkers time, isn't it, at the moment? Just crazy. Days, WWE on ESPN, I don't like it. WWE on Peacock was $13.99, and now I got to do $29.99. That's just too much for me, said Mr. Dell Jr. Thoughts? I don't have any thoughts, honestly. There's nothing I can say, is there? I mean, the only thing I'll say is I don't massively blame WWE, because I think they've looked at the offers on the table and they're going to have taken the best offer, aren't they? They're also going to have factored in, if we raise the price of PLEs, it's going to result in less people watching. How does that affect the business? So that will have been factored in. They won't just look at the biggest number and take that. They will look at like the big numbers. They'll look at them, what that means for the consumer. They'll then factor in what's that going to probably do to viewership. I mean, it ain't going to increase viewership. They ain't going to attract. They can tell you and spin it however they want, but you can't tell me that by going to a platform where it's going to cost more money that they are going to attract more viewers, because they'll lose viewers from going to that more expensive platform. Yes, they will gain some that maybe weren't watching before, that are subscribed to this ESPN platform. But I do not believe that this is going to result in growth for them. So they must have factored that in as well. But, at the end of the day, they're going to have looked at what is right for their business. They're going to look at what the right move was. And if they believe this is the right move, then, there's not much I can say, really. It sucks, and I don't like it. And there's nothing to like, because it's going to be more expensive in America. And it's not even just that, is it? I mean, you lot are going to have to pay more, and you'd think, oh, why are you moaning? You ain't got to pay it. But it's like, it shows what is motivating TKO. Not that we needed a reminder, but what motivates them is the bottom line is money, and how much can we make, and there just doesn't ever seem to be a consideration at any point of what's right for the fans, what's best for the fans. This is a company that's motivated by money, as are all companies. But, sometimes you would like to see them consider the fans and think about the fans. But can we expect that? No company is doing that, or very few companies are doing that. They're just, it's dog eat dog. They're all just trying to get as much money as possible. And that's not WWE alone, is it? That's just all companies. So this is why I'm not surprised. If they obviously have looked at this and felt this is the right way forward for the business, they've gone for it. It's just another sign that the consumer is not considered, or if they are considered, I don't think there's much consideration. So sucks. There's no positive spin that I could put on it. The only thing WWE can do is just come out with some sort of nonsense with the WWE. Probably is because they're picking up 1.6 billion. They're getting paid 1.6 billion to go over, so it probably is a great opportunity. It's a $1.6 billion opportunity, but it's going to have an impact on viewership, and it's going to have an impact on the amount of people that watch your products. And maybe the 1.6 is more than enough to cover that. Don't know. It's just sad, innit? It's all sad. Wrestling makes me sad right now. Apart from Evolve, this is why I stan Evolve. This is why Evolve is the future of WWE, because we can watch it. It's on Tubi, which is free in America, right? And it uploads the next day on YouTube, which, as long as you've got internet access, you can watch it for free, right? And they don't ask for anything from us. I don't even think there's a sponsor in the ring, right? There's not even a sponsor in the ring. So, and there's some great action, and we're watching people learning and coming through. We just looked at Tala, and there's a bit of work to be done there, but that's part of the joy of Evolve, is going, I don't think she's quite got it. I'd like to see more of that. And then people are like, yeah, but I think we're a bit of this, bit of that, or maybe we go that way, maybe go that way. That's part of the joy of it. So for me, this is why we should probably just sack off Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. We should all just agree to not watch them anymore. We'll just watch Evolve. Just watch Evolve. Like, we'll come back tomorrow and watch episode 1. We'll just start again and work our way through. And we'll just keep watching these shows. And I'm going to do like whole video breakdowns of all the people that are in Evolve. And we'll talk about our top 10 Evolve moments and our top 10 Evolve matches. Could do that, actually. That's actually not a bad idea. Alan said, I think Watch Wrestling's going to have a lot more customers. Yes, let's go. No more budget cuts if that deal goes through, said Love the Bearded. That is so not true. Mate, they are making so much money and we still get budget cuts. The way that this company operates, and the way that most companies operate, is get as much money through the door as possibly can. Give us money, right? But that is completely separate to the other side of the business, which is spend as little as possible, right? You have got people that are working hard to get as much in through the door, and then you have got people that are constantly looking at budgets, constantly looking at what's being spent to make sure that that gap of profit is as wide as possible. So the idea that they get 1.6 and, well, the good news is there won't be anyone losing their jobs now. No way. No way. You'll still see people being released. You'll still see budgets being sorted and tweaked, because they just honestly are just constantly reviewing both things, and constantly, everyone is focused on making that gap, that profit, as wide and as big as possible. That's what they're trying to do. And then put some wrestling in there as well. Seeb said, Daze, with pay-per-view going behind a paywall, do we think Raw and SmackDown will have more effort on them? Well, I was just talking to LS Dub. LS Dub made a good point. He was like, I don't know that Raw and SmackDown will have more effort on them, but I actually think this might negatively hurt Raw and SmackDown, because I tell you what is going to have more effort, the PLEs. Because if you're asking people to spend $30 a month on PLEs, you're going to have to give them really good shows, aren't you? You're going to have to give them better shows, more matches. You're going to have to give them more title matches. You can't just give them 6 matches and 1 or 2 of them probably could have been on Raw and SmackDown. Like, you're going to have to give them better quality PLEs. Otherwise, if they don't feel they're getting their money's worth, they'll stop paying the $29.99. It's one thing to be on Peacock, which some people may have already had. And I think Peacock's what, $9.99? Something like that, $10.99? I mean, it's one thing to be on that platform and, you know, you get all the other content that's on there as well, as opposed to $29.99 and, you know, what, you're still going to get the same level PLE. I mean, look, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Rumble, they're fine. But, like, what about Backlash? What about Night of Champions? You know, what about Clash of Crown Jewel or whatever, Clash of Crown Jewel? What about those kinds of shows, which, you know, are kind of B shows? And are they worth $29.99 a month? Are they worth $29.99 a month? So, actually, you know how they like to save some title matches for the go-home show, or they'll save some feuds. You know, sometimes, like, the tag titles aren't defended, or we got, I think, Zelina Julia the other day on TV rather than being at SummerSlam. Like, I wonder if they're going to have to change some of that now. I wonder if the PLEs are going to have to be stronger to justify the $29.99. And if you do that, that's only going to mean that you're probably going to fill those gaps on Raw and SmackDown with more less meaningful matches. So I don't feel like this makes Raw and SmackDown stronger. I think if anything, it makes it weaker, because I think next year you've got to make your PLE stronger. Daze, how is this any different to UFC on ESPN? That's $130 a year. Well, it's not. But the thing is that we don't have we have a fan base here that is not used to paying those kinds of numbers. So, you know, the thing with UFC is that that's been their business model for a long time. So, I mean, it's not different to what they do with UFC, but WWE have gone from having its own network, which UFC have never had, where you could pay $9.99 and everyone was like, this is great. You know, you got all the pay-per-views, you got all the old content, and it was in a really great place. And then obviously it moved to Peacock, and that was the end of the network. And that was a bit disappointing, because obviously you lost all that great back catalogue. I don't know exactly what you had move over to Peacock. I don't know if it was everything. But it was lovely having it all in like the one place, and, you know, that was good. So, but the money was still fine. It was still $9.99, $10.99, still got all the pay-per-views. So not too many complaints there. But now to go to $29.99, like all of a sudden now, that's a massive jump, isn't it? I mean, you're kind of almost 3xing the amount of money that you have to spend. And so, you know, this is, people in wrestling just haven't had to do that. Going all the way back to before the network arrived in 2014. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those where you can say, how is it any different to UFC and what they have to do? But the UFC model has long been that model. So you've kind of, you don't even really think so much about having to pay that. Because like people pay that, and that's just what they've always paid. Whereas now you're asking people to spend 3 times more than what they're paying. I suppose the way I would word it is, imagine if you went to those people that buy ESPN Plus right now and say to them, next year it's going to cost you $300 odd. It's going to cost you a lot more than what you're paying now, because that's what you're saying to wrestling fans. You're saying you're paying X now, next year we want you to pay Y. So we want you to pay that, and next year we want you to pay that. So go up to UFC fans and say to them, at the moment you're paying that, next year we want you to pay that, and see if they're pleased about it. Because I bet there'd be outrage. And just like you're seeing like people disappointed and upset in America right now, because you're asking them to pay more. I mean, people have got budgets. They've got amount of money that they can spend. I mean, $29.99 a month is going to be $30 a month. That's going to be $360 a year. $30 a month is $360 a year. How much did you just say UFC was? 130 a year. 130 a year. And ESPN's going to be 360 a year. And we're sat here having a conversation about how is it any different? Is it only 130 a year for that? Why is that so drastically different? Why is that so drastically different? That actually, now I've put it into year terms, that is really bad, isn't it? 300. I have done my maths right, haven't I? $29.99 a month. 30 a month, times it by 10, gets you to 300. 2 more months, 60, 360. That's, yeah, honestly, I get it. I totally understand the disappointment. I totally understand why people are like, can't, you know what I mean? I mean, $10 a month meant that you were spending $120 now. So you're spending $120 now just to have Peacock a year. So you've 3x'd it. Jeez. I'm sorry, America. It's not my choice. I can understand why you would be disappointed. Right. It's not part of the Hulu, Disney, ESPN. It's a new separate platform. Says BR Nix. So it's part of a separate platform. Well, I mean, this is WWE Premium Live events headed to ESPN platforms beginning 2026. So is it just owned by them? I know that Disney kind of own ESPN, don't they? So I know that Disney kind of own that. So yeah, it is one of those that people are frustrated with. Right, real cool. Chanel said, I crashed out hard today about the ESPN deal. It's preposterous. Sean said, I want to know why wrestling shows can't go on for as long as they want now that they're on Netflix. Bruce mentioned it briefly in Unreal, but they never went into detail why they care. That really annoyed me. So, yeah, I don't know why, to be honest, that Bruce didn't flesh that out. I thought it was very interesting how he said that's just not true and then didn't really go further in it. Part of the reaction to Unreal was people wondering if that was kind of a setup thing or not. I know that one thing emerged, which was Charlotte. You know, when Charlotte went to the back and there was a load of people in the back that were like, welcome back. Word has come out since that they basically asked the talent to do that. Would you mind standing in the corridor and saying to Charlotte, welcome back, and all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's one of those that there might have been some moments that were sweetened, influenced. Some people are wondering if that was one of them. Just because, yeah, he didn't really go into detail. I feel like he easily could have explained why they couldn't go any longer. I mean, I can't imagine that Netflix have said to them that 2.5 hours is the limit or something like that. You know, I can't imagine they've said that. So I wonder why. The only thing I can think is every minute that you are beaming and transmitting a signal probably has a cost attached to it. So every minute that something is being sent, it's actually got a price attached. So I wonder if Triple H has said, we're going to aim for 2.5 because that's the sweet spot. But every minute over is costing us another $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. Or I wonder if it's something along those lines. So, don't know. There were some people out there that were thinking it might have been connected to Unreal and that they just put it in for that purpose. Or it might have been that it could be something to do with the transmission costs. Mr. Dow Jr. said UFC pay-per-views are $79.99. Boxing pay-per-views are $49.99. WWE $29.99. People are saying that they're going to stop watching WWE because of this. But of course they'll buy the pay-per-views, even if they are whining, said Mr. Dow Jr. Hang on, Mr. Dow Jr., didn't you just say that it was too much for you? Mr. Dow Jr., your earlier comment was WWE on ESPN. I don't like it because WWE on Peacock was $13.99 and now I've got to pay $29.99, which is too much for me. And now your latest comment is that people are going to stop watching and that they're whining. I don't understand that. Which lane are we in on this? Are we for it, against it? I don't know. Irish Rebel said, I'm not very happy about it, to be honest. What happened to Austin Theory? He got removed from the internal roster, which, to be honest, I'm not surprised at, because my understanding is that he has picked up an injury. That's what was reported. So he's been removed from the internal active roster, which would be in line with him being injured. But I think people are looking at it and speculating that he's about to lose his job. But it was reported the other week that he had picked up an injury. So, I don't know. That didn't surprise me. Honestly, I wasn't shocked by the news that he'd been took off the internal roster. It says if you have a service and ESPN, you won't have to pay the $29. So if you've got ESPN already, you don't have to pay the $29.99. I don't know how many people that would affect, to be honest, but that would help. Sean says, oh yeah, we answered that one. Steve said, I don't think it will change the PLE model. There are select PLEs that will air on regular ESPN and some of this new DTC that I don't think is active yet. It's all a bit messy, said Steve. Deshaun said this comes some days after it was reported that there's been talks between Comcast and NBC to merge Paramount and Peacock together. Expected cost is more than either separately. Okay. Daze, there's no extra charge for pay-per-views on ESPN if you've already got the channel. The app is free. I don't know how many people have got it, honestly. I think that ESPN is like something you have to subscribe to, which I think carries about that $29.99 cost anyway. So you've got to already be signed up to that. And I honestly couldn't tell you the percentage of wrestling fans that are already signed up to it. So there is going to be an extra cost here for a lot of people, whether some people will be okay because they've already got it. Not everyone's going to have it. I'd be interested to know the number that have ESPN. The Beach said ESPN is in 70 million households. All of them will get the WWE PLEs for free. Well, that's better. That's more positive. Huddle Talk said the way I understand it is that if you get cable Xfinity, you will be able to log into ESPN from your account and not have the $29.99. AB says WWE ESPN 5 years, it's going to be 1.6 billion. Well, the 70 million households is good, isn't it? How many wrestling fans have actually got access to ESPN? I genuinely don't know. Obviously, if it means that people are not going to have to spend that extra $29.99, that is a bonus. Just like when we went to Netflix and people already had Netflix, that's great news. But genuinely sat here right now, I don't know how many wrestling fans have got ESPN and how many people are going to have to purchase that extra $29.99. I can guarantee that 95% of people with ESPN don't even watch WWE, said First 48. I think we're on top of all of the comments. Asib said, do a poll and see how many people have ESPN. Well, we can do a poll. What's that? I got my own wrestling to watch, said Irish Rebel. 70 million compared to 340 million. No one has cable anymore, says Chanel. Well, look, we're going to have to see how the dust settles. All I know is that moving over to a platform that's going to cost $29.99 is obviously not ideal for many people. If it's a case that if you already have ESPN that you don't have to pay that, that's obviously brilliant, right? That's great, because that means that there's going to be a chunk of people that aren't going to be inconvenienced. But it's crazy to think that there's not people that are going to be inconvenienced with this move. There definitely is. And so, you know, you're definitely causing some problems there for people that are now going to have to face a big expenditure as to whether they want to continue to watch or can even afford to continue to watch WWE pay-per-views. So, yeah, that is obviously the big news that has kind of come through today. This coming off the back of the Brock Lesnar news as well is pretty wild time in wrestling. Johnny said, can I ask a question? Yes. I live in America. I had to buy every pay-per-view for WWE. I had to buy every pay-per-view now in WWE 2026. Well, it appears like if you have got ESPN or not. So $29.99 is the cost. But if you've got it, what I'm being told is that it's just part of your deal. So it depends if you've got ESPN or not. Pay-per-views are gone. They're now PLEs on Peacock or Netflix, says Taken 1990, but that's what we're talking about, it changing next year. I wonder if they're working on a deal for the UK, said PJ, or if we are included in the Netflix deal. Well, I believe we're included in the Netflix deal, so I believe that it's just part of that. So obviously I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we don't get affected by that or impacted by that. Mr. Al Jr. said people on ESPN only care about the NFL, college football, NBA, baseball, soccer. Monday Night Football averaged 15 million during the 2024 NFL season. Johnny says, thanks, Daze. When does it take effect next year? Yes, apparently 2026. I don't know if it's at the start of the year or if it's midpoint next year, but it comes into effect next year. Days, do we think the crowds in Dublin will be good for SmackDown? I believe it's going to be the first televised event. Do I think the crowds in Dublin will be good for SmackDown? Yes, I think Ireland should make their voices heard, because I think that Irish fans and Ireland should have a pay-per-view, a PLE, honestly. I think that there's a lot of talent like Lyra and Finn and Sheamus and Becky, and there's a proud history of people from Ireland that have made their way to WWE. So Ireland do get the occasional house show, they do get the occasional Raw or SmackDown, and you know what the Irish are like, they always bring the noise. So I would expect it to be a very, very good crowd. Whether it would beat like what we see in France and what we get over there, I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, I think that we are still going to see a really passionate crowd. We're still going to see a crowd that I think is going to bring plenty of energy. And as I said, definitely a crowd I would like to see rewarded with a premium live event in the future. Okay, let's get to be fired up, shall we? Johnny said the pirate sites are going to be pretty good anyway. If anyone wants to opt out of paying, streamed TNA Slammiversary in HD, and there was only about 20 seconds lag. Steve said international fans have benefited from this Netflix partnership, but the US fans are getting screwed over again and again with these different platforms. I mean, it is true. You have to watch NXT on CW. You have to watch Raw on USA Network. Now you need ESPN to get this, the pay-per-views. I don't know if the back catalogue moves over there as well. Maybe the back catalogue moves with it. If not, then I would imagine it would. I'd imagine the deal with Peacock is done, and that means everything comes off there. So I'd imagine the back catalogue would move over as well. But if not, that would be another expenditure. So, you know, you've got like all three shows on different networks, different platforms, and now you've got your pay-per-view somewhere else. So, yeah, I mean, as I said, like we're really lucky over here in the UK. Everything's just on Netflix. It's a one-stop shop, you know. I think WWE has got plans for India soon, said Sean. Yeah. I would like to see some expansion there, definitely. I think India has always been a very passionate fan base for WWE. The only thing I'd say about India is that I'm not sure what the average income is, and I'm not sure, like, you know, if WWE feel that they can charge kind of really high ticket prices and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I don't know. It's one of those where that's the only thing I can think that's kind of stopped us really going to India, because we've done, obviously Saudi Arabia pay a lot of money for WWE, but we've gone to Australia. So we've done Australia, and obviously we've been all around Europe. I mean, you would think India with like 1 billion people and it being seemingly very pro WWE, you would think that India would be right at the top of the list. So I can only think that it's got something to do with, I don't know, them thinking they maybe can't charge the high ticket prices that they would like to charge, you know. I'm waiting to see how they're going to ruin the experience for us international viewers, since we have it all on Netflix. Right. The Netflix deal is for Raw is 10 years, says AB. Will the next pay-per-view be on ESPN? Not till next year. The ESPN thing's not till next year. So, you haven't got to worry until 2026. It was just an announcement today about next year, and then it'll move over to that platform. But keep getting your votes in, because obviously, you know, it's interesting to know how many people this is going to impact, what percentage of our community is going to struggle if they've not got ESPN. So let us know, do you have ESPN? Do you not have ESPN? Right. Start date is January, said AB. It's a new direct consumer streaming service that will launch in August 21, but WWE moves over on January 2026. So, Johnny, will the NXT pay-per-view be on ESPN? I don't think if it's on Peacock now in America, then I believe it moves over to ESPN. So I would imagine the NXT pay-per-views are shown on Peacock in America. They're certainly shown on Netflix here in the UK. So I think I believe they're shown Peacock in America. So yes, that would all move over to ESPN in 2026. New episode is up now, said Noctivix. Okay. We always wait a few minutes, don't we? We always wait a few minutes. Daze, do you need a VPN to watch Evolve? You do, bud. Yes. Yes, it doesn't, unfortunately, upload on YouTube till tomorrow. Steve said, from what I've seen, ESPN won't get any of the back catalogue. Maybe some of that moves to the vault. Well, that'd be okay, wouldn't it? That's all right. That's not behind a paywall. So if the back catalogue keeps going on to vault, that's fine. The only problem is that it's not all there, is it? You got to wait for them to upload it. That's the only downside. You can't go to the vault and just find what you want. And actually, I mean, I don't know if their playlists are getting better, but, you know, it's not the same as just going in and just, like, quickly finding what you want. Like, it's not as easy to kind of navigate. Some things are in the live section. Some things are videos. So, you know, finding specific things a little bit trickier as well, I would say. So a couple of things there that's maybe not quite ideal, but it is what it is. I will be out. I can't do $30 a month, says Draco. I have never had a chance to watch PLEs whilst they're happening, but being an ESPN viewer, I've always had to hang out here to get the call or get clips after, says Nathan. William said, Daze, please read this comment. My ball sack itches, so I've scratched it. I found out later that my ball sack didn't really itch. I was just trying to make you think about my greasy, sweaty ball sack. Well, joke's on you, William, because I actually already think about your sweaty ball sack. I didn't even need that comment. Yeah. So there we go. Steve said, I don't think it's confirmed that it goes to the vault. It's just a bit of speculation at this time. Right, Jason said ESPN want to make money. They have 1.6 billion to pay WWE, so I'm not going to hold my breath about the PLEs being on ESPN. Well, it's not good news. Let's put it that way, right? It's not good news. It's going to definitely result in people in America having to spend more. We don't know the percentage, but it's going to result in a good chunk of people having to spend more. And yeah, I don't know. There was already a bit of doom and gloom around, and today's news has certainly not helped with that. But you know what might help with that? A really good episode of Evolve. That might help with that. And so let's turn our attention to this week's episode, shall we? I'm going to get ready to get this going. We like to get it going as soon as we hit the hour mark itself. And we'll be underway with that in a second. James said Evolve goes on YouTube tomorrow. It does for our UK friends. Probably our international friends as well. Actually, don't know about other countries. But in America, it's on Tubi. And elsewhere, it is going to hit YouTube. Daze can like it ESPN Plus and watch it on there, or can I offer to watch it on Disney Plus? I don't think it's going on Disney Plus. It's going on a new platform, I believe, so it won't be on Disney Plus. Right, here we go. Tubi original. Then right. Diddle-in, diddle-in. Okay, together. Bum, bum, bum. That's where I am. I just had the bum, bum, bum bit. Okay, we're looking at last month. Kylie in action, taking on Natalya. And then she just managed to defeat her and Gintala from behind. Gintala, we say it all the time. She's got some really great submissions. I'm sure she'll break some out in this match, but I don't think she's going to get the job done. Okay, so this I think was last week where... Oh, what's this? Oh, that was interesting. Okay, so she's already in the ring. Where are you at? Jin. You want my championship so bad, come and get it. So there we go, Kylie calls out Jin. There's Jin. These two are fighting down on the ground in the entranceway. Are we going straight into this match, straight out the gate, are we? No. They're just ringing the bell. Looks like they're going to try and separate them. Referee's coming in, separating these two. There's Stevie. Oh, you can't. Why didn't you just let them fight? Well, there we go. You can have it right now. Let's go. Yeah, okay. It was a little weird because they were fighting on the outsides and they separated them. And then Stevie came out and said, no, you can fight. And so my question was, why didn't they just let them fight? But I think the commentators have just made a good point. Natalya was not quite ready. She hadn't been warmed up. She hadn't stretched. She didn't expect this match for like another 40 minutes. So, that's why they've kind of had to make a decision. I think it would have been good, though, if Stevie had asked Jin, like, are you happy to go? Because they're saying that Kylie has pulled a master stroke. Elbow. 1, 2. No joy. No joy. Natalya with some elbows. Right. It is pouring of rain here, said AB. Johnny said, I'm friends with Jack Cartwheel. He's a good guy. He seems like a good guy. I mean, in all fairness, they all seem like good people. Okay, lovely elbow there by Kylie. This thing's settling down now. Interesting that we've started off with this championship match, and I like the fact of how they've actually done it, because if we had just opened the show with this, I think we all would agree, well, we're not getting a new champ. There's no way we're going to get a new champ. They've just started with this match. But the way they started with it made it seem like, well, that wasn't the plan. This was meant to close the show. But instead, the way it's come about, we're doing it now. So I think the way they've gone about it has been quite clever, actually. Over in the corner goes Kylie. She lands on her feet. Picks up Jin, slams her down. Ring mat looks a bit weird. Oh, splash there by Kylie. Knees up by Jin. Well, obviously there's no sponsors, so that's a bit strange. But not only that, they do record several weeks in a row. So it's not a clean canvas. Probably because they've done some previous weeks on it before. Uppercut coming in there by Jin, and again. Kylie going over against the ropes. There's a few boos there for Jin. I don't really know who we're meant to root for, to be honest. This is kind of heel against heel. Jin attacking Kylie, but Kylie's been healing it up with Natalya recently. As we go to commercial, we've got Heatwave advert. Sunday, 24th. No fear. All fire. WWE Heatwave. Right. What are we having? A match? Said Blue Wilson. Yeah. We're straight out the gate with the championship match. I've just gone to some sort of advert. I think it's for Fox. Is this Fox News? Fox News America is watching. Right. We are back to the action. We have started with our Evolve Women's Championship match. Kylie Armstrong against Natalya. Jin in control at the moment with some big knees to the midsection. Kylie goes down. Jin standing on the back of Kylie. Kylie is being kept grounded. Grabbing Kylie. Now Jin. She's got her over in the corner looking for a suplex. Lovely. Well executed. Jin going for the cover to kick out there by Kylie. Why did the ref do that? The ref counted and then went right in the face of Jin and Kylie and was like, two. It was a two. Just so you know, it was a two. I don't know why she was so desperate to communicate that too. I'm pretty sure they knew by the fact that she didn't count the three. Two, in case they need out. Two. Right, being kept down in the middle of the ring here by Jin. We're seeing a shot of the crowd. Knees coming into the midsection there by Jin as Kylie goes down. James said, how do I watch Evolve? It's on Tubi in America. Depends where you are. If you're in America, you can watch Tubi. Tubi is free, I am told. So you just go to the website, Tubi, and you can watch it. If you're in the UK, you'll need a VPN and go to Tubi. Or you can just wait for tomorrow and it will go up on YouTube. It's the best ref in the business, said Akeem. Well, she's very good at communicating. No one is going to be in any doubt that that last count was a two. Kick coming in there by Jim. Shot coming in as well. Another shot coming in there by Jin as Kylie gets up to her feet. Big right hand there by Kylie. And again, Jin goes back. Those shots look great. Those shots look really good by Kylie. Jin against the rope, shoulder tackle. Down goes, back elbow. Down goes Jin again. Duck underneath Kylie. Really good comeback. Spinebuster was not bad. 1, 2, shoulder up. Shoulder up. Right now, we've got Jin. We've got Kylie. Jin is over in the corner. Moving out the way. Roll up. 1, 2. Kick out. Mr. Al Jr. said, I've got ESPN. I've had it for years. I have PLEs for free. I checked on Google. I said I couldn't afford that, but that was before I Googled it. Mr. Al Jr., no worries. Picking up, slamming down. But the point remains that there's going to be many people that won't have it, won't be able to afford it. There we go. Kylie with a shoulder barge. Down goes Jin. 1, 2, 3. It's a win for Kylie after she shoulder barged into Jin. Jin went down. And there we go. It's a victory for Kylie. She wasn't really pushed that hard, to be honest. It was only like a 10-minute thing. 619 was okay. Bang. Jim was robbed, said the Beach Kevin. The Kylie connection. Okay, Chewy. Anytime you step in. With the champ. With the Ooh! Well, this is interesting. Carmen Petrovic. We haven't seen much of her in NXT. We've got some unfinished business. So we're just seeing what went down last month. Okay. So Carmen Petrovic has set her sights on the Evolve Championship. I wish that this opening match had had more time, to be honest. That was a match I was really looking forward to, and we're sort of done with it in like 10 minutes. Here we go. Look, Vanity Project, Hondos. Okay, they're talking about Keanu Carver. It's a weird this, isn't it? I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm perving. I feel like I'm William Hensey. I'm just sort of watching them from behind some sort of, I don't know, metal girder. What? Why are we perving? Why have we got perv cam on the go? Oh, okay. Bryce doesn't seem happy that he's been put in a match. Bryce is facing Keanu. You've got this. Kendal Gray. Carly Bright. Let's go. Kendal Gray, Wendy Choo feud will be really good. Okay, Kendal wants to rip Wendy's arm off. But Carly's like, I'll do it for the both of us. Is that going to be our next match? Carly Bright against Wendy Choo? I think Carly Bright's going to get murked. Well, there we go. Bryce Donovan is going to be in action against Keanu Carver. That'll be interesting. And I also like the fact that Bryce Donovan was not thrilled at being put in a match that he didn't know about. Wendy Choo, Carly Bright, that's going to be coming up as well next. It's coming up next. Watching SmackDown from last week with a Canada VPN, I missed, said AB. Pervo Vision to watch the Lady Garden, said Wes. Who is that weird long-haired guy, said Akeem. That's Bryce Donovan. He doesn't really fit in with that group, does he? He doesn't really fit in. So we've long been thinking he'll find a way of getting like kicked out or turning on him or something. And the fact he was just a little disappointed that, or not pleased that he's been put in a match and didn't know about it, might be the start of that. So he's going to be facing Keanu Carver. I'd imagine Keanu will get the better of him. Okay, SummerSlam next year advert? I don't think I've seen one of them yet. Now we've got a WWE ID advert. Oh, look at this. The first ever WWE ID champions were crowned. GC Dub. Cappuccino Jones getting it done. Zayda Steele. I really thought Zayda was getting this. I really thought they were going to go Zayda. Zayda against Zara Zaka against Kylie Ray. But it was Zayda Steele that tapped. Kylie Ray becomes the women's ID champ. So there we go. Those championships are going to be doing the rounds on the indie circuit. And so you'll be able to go to your local, potentially go to your local indie show, and you'll be able to watch WWE ID matches. And if someone can win the title, they will get a WWE ID contract. Very good. Carmen is being welcomed. A rematch. Ah, here's Tyra May Steele. Okay, we've got Carmen and Tyra getting face to face. Next week, Carmen, Tyra May Steele. Why does Carmen like that? Why does Carmen like that? Carmen came here to get a title opportunity, and now she's in like a #1 contenders match, and she's like, I like that. That sounds good to me. Right, Kylie Bright making her way down. This shiz is smooth, said Daze. Don't hate me, but it's SmackDown 2 hours. Yeah. Why would I hate you for that question? SmackDown is 2 hours. Right, we have got Kylie against Wendy. Okay, and Kendal is on the outside. Here comes Wendy. Wes said, are you going to do more community interviews? Yeah. Yeah, I think definitely will. I really enjoyed the one we did with LS Dub today. It will be part of rotation, though. So, I mean, probably be like once a month or something like that. So, it's not going to be something we're going to be able to get, like done loads. I mean, maybe we might be able to change it so that we do, like, half an hour slots. So we do, you know, like how I ended it with LS Dub, so we could do the quiz. Ideally, we do the quiz on Tuesday. Maybe I could, you know, end the one chat. The only problem is there's every chance someone jumps in and their mic isn't working, or the audio's not right, or the picture's not coming through, or do you know what I mean? That's the only thing that would be a problem with trying to get a couple in. Because the only downside with doing one a month would be that you'd only get 12 people done, wouldn't you? To be honest, even if you do 2 a month, you're still only getting 24. So it's... I don't think it's going to be something we're going to be able to do where we can really get round like the majority of the community. But yeah, it's something we can certainly look at doing again. Okay, we are underway as Wendy and Carmen lock up. Carmen goes over. Wendy backs over in the corner. Carly. Okay, Wendy coming in, grabbing. Kylie taking her down. Haven't seen loads of Kylie Bright, to be honest. Wendy moving forward. Kylie going over against the ropes. Wendy grabs the leg. Middle of the ring. Headlock. Got her at the moment. Recently developed a fascination with Kendal Gray. That's the fun fact. Fun fact. There's Kendal on the outside trying to offer some words of encouragement. Right now, Wendy trying to find a way of getting up to her feet. No joy at the moment. Goes round. She's trying to find a way out of this. Look at that. She does get out of it. Oh. Kylie, though, keeping Wendy grounded. Kylie is defending her bestie, Kendal Gray, from Wendy Choo. Wendy trying to find a way of getting up to her feet as Kylie Was trying to keep her grounded. Back elbow there by Wendy. This match is a lot more storyline focused. We keep focusing on Kendal on the outsides. Oh, she grabbed the hair. Kylie Bright goes down. And Wendy right now working on the arm. Bit of joint manipulation. Working on the fingers. And kip up. Lovely kip up. Whoa, great. Lovely work there by Kylie Bright. Duck underneath, grabbing the leg, trying to grab the leg there of Wendy. Wendy goes round, and again. Kylie over by the ropes, flipping over, that's nice. Taking Wendy over. She's back up, shoulder tackle. Wendy sits up. Kylie goes over against the rope, steps over. She's going to look to turn her over into a pin. Gets a 2 count. That was quite nice. Roll up 1, 2. Kick out again there by Wendy. Wendy coming in. Big boot to the midsection. Kylie goes down to 1 knee. Wendy grabbing her. Forearm shot coming in. Down goes Kylie. Wendy in control. Kylie going into that turnbuckle. 23 minutes into this show already. We've had a women's championship match. We've perved on Vanity Project. Now we've got Wendy and Kylie Bright battling away. Wendy got smashed into the corner. She laughed about it. Duck underneath, against the rope goes Kylie. Round the houses, takes Wendy down. Wendy, though, immediately back up to her feet, but into a drop kick. And Wendy having to regroup on the outsides. Now we've got Kylie kind of stepping through. I think Kendal has kind of come round. Kendal distracts as Kylie crashes onto Wendy. Kylie celebrating. Things kind of going her way at the moment. Right. James said, Daze, someone better threaten to shove their thumb up someone's ass. We do need that. That is what Evolve is missing. We need more Cutler. Robert said, Daze, I remember the days of having to pay Sky Sports for years to then watch pay-per-views. Miss Dale Jr. said, imagine if England won the World Cup. I wonder how you would react. I bet you would go crazy. Run around like a 5-year-old. It would be very special. That's the biggest thing I could ever imagine happening, like from a sporting point of view. The only thing I could compare it to is if your state has not won the Super Bowl since the 60s and it wins the Super Bowl. Could you imagine the reaction of people in the crowd, like in the town? And do you know what I mean? Probably people swinging off blooming traffic lights and, I don't know, fireworks being set off in the street and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it would be that. The whole country would just go crazy if we was to win the World Cup. It's our national sport, isn't it? It's like, it's a true passion, and England are always kind of qualifying and getting into the latter stages, but just can't flip it and just can't get the job done. Got to the Euro final twice recently and not been able to get the job done. We are back to the action after just going to commercial break. Going for a cover there, Wendy, 2, and kick out there by Charlee. AB said, can we see Cross and Scarlett in AEW? I'm just struggling to see them leave WWE. If they do go, then, and genuinely go, then yeah, I don't see any reason why AEW wouldn't want to pick them up. They've got fan support. They've got a ready-made fan base. But that's another reason why I struggle to see them go, because surely WWE can see the fan support. Why would you want to see that go to AEW? I mean, look, people wouldn't stop watching WWE, but it's another good reason to start watching AEW. Clothesline there by Kylie. Wendy comes up. What's your favourite C show of all time, like Evolve or Livewire or Velocity type show? I think it'd be Mania. WWF Mania, you know, the early Saturday morning show. Oof, I think it would probably be that. I never got a chance to really watch it at the time, but whenever I saw like clips of it throughout the 90s, I loved it. It was totally my kind of thing. It was aimed more at like kids. They were in that video room. You had Todd Pettingale as the host. I think there's a need for that as well. I think that WWE could have. I think they've tried it a few times, like a Saturday morning type kids show. I think, like, you know, do you remember that footage where they had kids commentating on NXT? I don't know what the thought process was with that, but they had kids. And they did like an NXT kids kind of pilot. So it was proper NXT talent wrestling, but they tried to make it more for kids. A lot like sillier in-ring stuff, you know? Kind of think mixed match. Imagine that mixed match challenge. Kind of, oh, lovely reversal there by Kylie. Double knees. Down went Wendy. 1, 2... Shoulder up. But I got to admit, I am absolutely loving Evolve. I think this is going to really continue to grow into being like a show that I really enjoy. It's its own brand, isn't it? Right now, trying to get up. Shot coming in there by Charlee. We had that Saturday Morning Slam in 2013, said Bishop. Yes. It mustn't have worked. I honestly, I mean, at that time, I didn't have this channel, so I couldn't tell you what its views were and stuff like that. It just mustn't have worked. Same with Mania back in the 90s. Well, right now, she's looking to put her away with a submission hold. These two, I really feel like these two have really had a good battle, you know? The dirt nap. And I think Kylie's going to get choked out here. And she is. And she does. Wendy gets the victory. Kylie is put to sleep. Wendy staring at the camera with a smile on her face. And she looks over at Kendal Gray. And Kendal, I think, knows that she has got a problem on her hands. First show of Heat was amazing. They'd have The Rock and Stone Cold on it every week, said Wrestle with Andy. Sir Curbington said, how cool would it be if Kurt came out of retirement to join as Cena's final opponent because that was his first? That would be cool. I don't know health-wise where Kurt is. I don't know if he'd be able to, but certainly his last match against Corbin, I don't think, was what he was looking for. Okay, we're backstage then with Chewie. Oh, yeah, we saw this guy. I can't remember his name. Things didn't go my way. Here's Brooks. A few boos for Brooks there. You're nothing more than what I was in 2022. Brooks said in this place you get chewed up, spit out, and left jaded. Choo is quite a big guy. I don't think Choo is a small guy. He always looks quite big compared to some of the other people he's interviewing, but look how big Brooks is compared to him. Brooks is much bigger than Chewie. Taller, that is. So it looks like we're building towards a match between these two, probably next week. Light work, says Brooks. Oh, right. Keanu Carver against Bryce is our main event tonight. Right. Oh, no. Dante Chen. I'm still here. Some have moved on to Raw and SmackDown, and some have moved out, but I'm still here. I like Idris. I like what Idris is doing at the moment in Evolve. When are we doing this? Is this next week? You've got to go out and earn it. I spoke to Stevie. Next week, we run it back. I think Idris is still undefeated. So we're running it back next week. Idris Enofe, Dante Chen. Is Dante going to hand Idris his first defeat in Evolve? Also coming up next week, we have got the Women's Championship Eliminator match. Carmen Petrovic against Tyra May Steele. That'll be good. Honestly, I'm down for both of those matches. Dante Idris, down for that. Tyra May Steele, I really like. Hondos! Hondos! Here we go, Bryce Donovan. So Robert Stone was like, did you see everyone throwing up the V's at MetLife Stadium? At SummerSlam, it's because Vanity Project are crazy over, according to Mr. Stone. I've always thought a modern-day Livewire would be a great YouTube channel idea. Yes, I agree. I think, I suppose in a way they could have adapted the bump to have kind of been along those lines. It's interesting, though, that the bump didn't, you know, continue. So I don't know what was going on with that in regards to cost versus ratings. Maybe they just thought it was just an extra cost that wasn't required. But yeah, I think you could have added that element to that quite comfortably. I don't even know if they had it actually with people calling in. The Matrix guy. The Matrix guy. Glockness said Vanity Project LFG. Let's go. Keanu Carver making his way down. They've really built this guy up as a problem, as a badass. Very surprised that he didn't go on to win that championship. He was obviously in the match to crown our first champ. Okay, Bryce Donovan is taller than Keanu, but Keanu obviously is thicker. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so both guys getting their intros. Big Daddy Country said, well, gonna retire with Cena. I'm not paying $30 a month to watch. I hate ESPN, says Big Daddy. Well, we might as well end the poll, because it'll be good to know what people thought of the main event. So we'll do a match poll for the main event. We asked the question of, do you have ESPN? It's pretty much 50-50 of the people that we've asked in our community. Whether that's reflected into the wider wrestling community, I'm obviously not sure, but by the looks of it, 50-50. Shot coming in there by Bryce. Bryce going over the other side. Keanu charges into Bryce, and Bryce goes down. Oh, mate, that shot, that looks so good. I think actually the sell from Bryce was really good. Shot coming in there by Bryce. Keanu on the outsides. Another shot coming in again there. Keanu on the outsides. Bryce is coming in with a Superman, and that knocks Keanu down on the outsides. Bryce in the ring, Keanu staring up at him. This is two big guys going at it. This is meat. Scooping him up, Bryce. Edge of the ring, bang. Keanu having a few words there with Bryce. He chucked him onto the edge of the ring. Right now he's having a few words with the champ. Looks like we're going to another commercial break. Keep your eyes on your opponent, he says. Oh, there we go. L.I. Baker said, what are the thoughts on tag team Money in the Bank? I think it'd be fun. The only thing is, some people have said about a tag team Royal Rumble as well. And I just think that if you're going to do that, is it right to do it at Money in the Bank with the women's and the men's? Like, at what point do you just start, like, killing the fun, you know? Because you're doing too much. It's kind of like the Rumble's really fun. I think you can get away with 2, but would you get away with 3? Same. Maybe you would if it was across a weekend, right? If they are really going to start doing 2 days, then maybe you could get away with doing, another Rumble. You could have 1 on one day, 2 on the other, but I don't know. I think Money in the Bank would be better than a third Rumble. But you do hear people saying about adding another Elimination Chamber, adding another Royal Rumble, adding another War Games, adding another Money in the Bank ladder match. So it's only, like, if it stayed 1 day, trying to get 3 in, I think would be overkill. But if it did go to the 2 days, I think, start to have a conversation. Big boot there by Bryce. Down went Keanu to kick out. A. Jobson said Team Cena, Team Authority, Survivor Series 2014. Awesome. Robert said, I liked it when they did the tag team chamber match. I'm surprised they didn't do more of those. I think some of it is to do with story, isn't it? Some of it is that they use the chamber to find, opponents for world titles, the other opponents. So we've done that in recent years. Sometimes we've done it to find mid-card or defend mid-card belts. So some of it might just be storyline driven. It might just be that we've always had like a better option or a story that we've needed a chamber for. I wouldn't be shocked to see them do a chamber for the tag titles or, tag teams being involved again in the future. I don't think that's a door that's like closed. Kick coming in there, bite. That was really good. He puts Keanu against the ropes and then kicked the rope. So the rope kind of slingshotted into him. He scoops up Keanu, slams him down. Bryce is in control, going for the cover. And kick out there by Keanu. Headlock is in. Keanu is being kept grounded there. Bryce in control. Big Time said NXT did 740 last night. That's good. Same year on year. 534. So up 200. Oh, what? Last year it did 534. This year it did 740. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Well, I think NXT this year consistently has been getting a lot of praise from us. So it's lovely to see that does actually result in ratings, You kind of want shows that are really good, that are really enjoyable, that you actually get something from. You want to see that do well in the ratings. So good. Brilliant. Kick coming in there by Bryce. Bryce looking to charge in, and big boot there to Keanu, but Keanu grabs it, gets up on his feet. Shot coming in by Bryce. Coming in with a big clothesline. Down goes Bryce, but he pops back up again. Another big right hand. That drives him in the corner. Keanu collides into it, picks him up, and slams him down. I mean, Bryce is a big man. For him to just scoop him up, just effortless. Look at that, and he just hurls him as well. Bryce is huge. He's doing fall-away slams and all this kind of stuff. Like, he's just ragdolling him. Keanu Carver is seriously strong. Seriously strong. He is just chucking this this guy around. I mean, I don't know what Bryce is, like 6'4", maybe 6'5", something like that. Just getting chucked around like a flipping ragdoll. Keanu Carver, unbeaten in his last 3 matches. I'm thinking he's going to be unbeaten here as well. He's got Bryce up on his shoulders. We go over in the corner. Big clubbing blow coming in there by Bryce. And again, raining these shots down. Keanu, though, stops those shots from coming in. And big right hand there by Keanu. Bryce is in a little bit of trouble here. He's in the wrong part of town as Keanu is climbing up. We've still got Vanity Project on the outside of the ring. Big Time said, fun fact, NXT was hovering around 600,000. They've moved to 700,000 on C-Dub. A total of 17 times this year. On 2024, it was only 4 times. Oh, Keanu on the shoulders of Bryce, an electric chair. And he plants Keanu too. Surely not, that won't do it, but there we go. Seeing Keanu on the shoulders of Bryce, dropping him backwards. And what's going on? Yeah, there is a bit of dissension there. Oh! Samoan drop. Bryce Donovan goes round the other side. Jackson Drake was really going off on Bryce Donovan there. Like, do your job, and he was like really getting frustrated. To be honest, I think the champ is worried about Keanu. I think the champ really wants Bryce to, deal with this problem for him. Zayda, I don't know what Zayda's doing. Yeah, Ricky Spokes is trying to get a chair. He wanted the chair from that guy in the crowd. The guy in the crowd was like, no. Brooks Jensen has come out. Well, this is all getting a bit... Brooks Jensen's like, let's go now, champ. Let's go now. Jordan Oasis has now come out. So Jordan... Oh, my God, it's loads of things going down. I do love the fact that guy was like, no, I'm not giving you my chair. I would have. If one of the wrestlers came to me and went, give me your chair, I'd be like, yeah, do you want this person's as well? I don't like that finishing move by Keanu Carver. I don't think it's good enough. Keanu Carver gets the win, though. Let's get match score. That match was picking up, said AB. James said, what do you think the reason is for NXT's success? Consistency, better matches, highlighting the women's division. Well, I think they did benefit by having bringing in Julia, bringing in Stephanie. I think bringing in those two, along with Jordan, of course. But also the working relationship with TNA, I think, has worked really well. Because I think that, that's obviously allowed them to bring in the likes of the Hardys. That's allowed them to bring in the likes of Joe Hendry, who's obviously massively popular. It's obviously brought them in the likes of Jordan Grace. So, they've kind of been able to dig into some really great talent that TNA have got. I think that has clearly helped. It's not hurt. That's also created a bit of a buzz just in the wrestling worlds, the fact that WWE are now working with TNA. But yeah, I think add in like the great women's division. I mean, legitimately at one point, I don't know that they can say it now, but at one point they had legitimately the best women's division. They could probably still make that claim now. Whether it's true, I'm not sure. I do think that AEW has got a very good women's division. Gotta love what Tony Storm's doing. Mercedes Moné is Sasha Banks' a massive name, doing really good work over there. And there's been, some really good, like Athena that's been used really well, built really well. She's in the mix. So I think there's, whether the women's division in NXT is as good as the AEW one, I genuinely don't know. But the fact that it's even being discussed, I think, is definitely an aspect. But then I just sort of feel like Sean has found his feet this year as well. I think, Shawn, when he first came in, it's hard, isn't it, to kind of take over from Triple H. It's kind of hard to come in and if you've not, I don't know that Shawn has ever booked. I don't know that Shawn has ever really been in that position. So for him to come in, you can sort of understand that at first it was all right. I remember watching, Shawn when he first was taking over, and it was okay. It wasn't as good as it is now, but I think he's kind of hit his strides. I think he's comfortable. I think he's settled. I think they've got a much better idea as to what has worked, what has been well received, and what hasn't worked, and what hasn't been well received, and what superstars to get behind, and what stories to pursue. And I just think they've become more comfortable than where we were the other year as well. I think changing the network, if they were still on USA Network, maybe it wouldn't be as good. I think that changing over to CW seems to have, certainly helped, not hurt. We're not seeing them regularly go to 500,000 or anything like that. It seems to be 600 and something as a minimum. So if they can even put on a half decent show, it seems to be that they can get to that 700,000 range. Seems to be just a little easier as well. So I think honestly, general quality compared to a few years ago. Women's division obviously has massively helped. The TNA relationship, I think, has massively helped. And we've brought a few people down from the main roster. We got Nia there at the moment. She won't have made a massive difference, but we've seen Chelsea pop up quite a few times, for example. And we've had Natalya come down, and there's a few people that have popped in. So I just think it's just managed to put on some really great matches. I think it's got some momentum. People seem to be enjoying it, and it's just a bit of a combination. I don't know that it's any one thing that's the answer. I think it is. I think you're right. I think it's a combination of all of those. And, I suppose if you was to just try and find one answer, it's that consistently this year we keep saying it's the best thing. We watch Raw, we watch SmackDown, we watch NXT, and consistently we keep saying NXT is the best of the three. So I can only imagine if you are a wrestling fan and you give NXT a go, there's probably a real good chance you'll come back again next week and the week after and the week after. And, I think there is a good chance that you will get into some of the characters, you'll get into those storylines, and you'll stick with the brand. And I just think they've been able to kind of gain that momentum and kind of grow from there, add in the TNA thing and all the other stuff we said. So it's just good, and it's good. It's lovely to see a show that's good get in its rewards, and it deserves it as well. I would love to see Evolve get better ratings, honestly, because I think that this show didn't really have much in the way of great matches. But I do see the work that's being done here. This is not a show that's just chucked together. Let's just do something. They've kind of built up Jin and Kylie. They also started off with that match. I'm guessing because they don't think Jin can go much longer than a 10-minute match. If they thought that she could do more, I'm sure it would have been the main event, and I'm sure they would have gone longer. But they wanted to showcase Jin, and they've given her a match, and they've opened the show with it. Then we've moved on to Wendy, Choo, Kylie, Bright. I actually really like Kendal Gray. I think Kendal Gray is really good. And Wendy is obviously one of the most interesting gimmicks. So a Kendal Gray, Wendy, Choo feud really interests me. And part of that feud is going to be Wendy going through her friend. And so we saw that tonight. Match itself was okay. I thought Kylie had some moments, but I'm kind of down for that feud. I think that'll be interesting. Interesting seeing Carmen Petrovic rock up and kind of calling out Jin. Then, of course, backstage, you got Tyra May Steele going, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm sick of these girls coming in and jumping ahead of me in the queue. And you go, yeah, I can understand that, because Jin's just had her opportunity tonight. Now here's Carmen. So I go, I can understand that. And of course, as we said, you've got Brooks Jensen around. There seems to be some dissension within Vanity Projects. So, Bryce Donovan never felt like he fitted. So it feels like he might be on his way out of that group. So that felt like it was teased. And it's just, you can see the sort of work that's gone into this. It's not just what NXT Level Up used to be, which is just chuck a couple of people out there, that'll do. There's stories here, there's character development, there's things that are happening. I just think this week it would have been good if the in-ring match quality had been just that little higher, because considering this is the level below NXT, we have actually been treated to some great matches on Evolve. I just don't think we had one this week. So, I love this brand as well, and I wish this got more love, but hopefully it's doing well enough on Tubi whereby it's going to keep going. I mean, I'd be really disappointed if they got rid of this. Imagine if this didn't get enough, like, good enough views to be just, don't bother, and this just, ended up going the same way as blooming ECW and Speed and, all the other things they've tried, blooming 205 Live and all that stuff. And eventually it may do, who knows? Or maybe it just keeps sticking around like NXT has. I mean, NXT is, doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Maybe Evolve can be, something that sticks around and can keep growing, and I love it. Honestly, I'm a big fan. I'm a big believer in what they're doing in Evolve. So that's why I'm happy to support it. Steve said, why do we think NXT is easy to book when Triple H was in charge? It was still the best show. I guarantee Sean booked the main roster, it wouldn't cook. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think it's a massive difference between NXT and main roster. I think the difference between them is just one of them, you can sleep in your own bed, go to the same place that you work all week, and because I think where they actually train is just like the next warehouse down. I don't think it's that far away with the new Performance Center. Because actually, I've been to the Performance Center. I haven't actually been inside, but I've been where it is. And it is just like this little road. It's kind of round the back of a main road. There's a main road. You have to turn off it, and you turn again. And then you've just got this row of warehouses, this row of like units. And it just in the unit on the corner is WWE. And it is bonkers to think they did a WrestleMania in just this weird place. It's just this road that's got these units, these kind of warehouse type units. Not that big. I mean, you've seen the outside of NXT. You know what it looks like. They do those outside shots occasionally. And, the units just look like that, really. And I believe one of the other ones is where they've moved the new PC to. I think that's where Evolve comes from. And, I mean, if you work in NXT, you are there around the writers, and you're there day in, day out. You can plan next week's show. You just can focus on that all week, and you can actually be at the Performance Center with your opponent. So if you're going to face Gintala next week, you can grab Gintala and you've got all week to kind of work with her. And so, you're there, you're training, you're talking, you're getting feedback, you've got the trainers. And I mean, that is so different to the main roster. Main roster, you're at home, you have to fly God knows where, sleep in a hotel, turn up to the arena. The amount of time that you've got to work with the producer is much shorter, of course, to kind of plan out your match and work out what you're going to do that night. You might be able to get some heads up like a few days before, but it's not going to be the same as NXT. And so it's a lot quicker. It's more rushed. Like, you're constantly moving from arena to arena and constantly traveling around not only America, but the world at times. I mean, they'll be doing a European tour as we head to Paris now for Clash in Paris. And of course, NXT don't have to worry about those things. It's just always the same Performance Center, isn't it? Comfortable, reliable, consistent. And so that jump is massive. So genuinely, I think if you've got the ability to be in the same location and to just work towards not worrying so much about house shows and stuff like that, but just work towards next week's show, I think that gives you a much better opportunity to actually focus on the product, on the end product, on the actual show and what it is you're delivering. It also gives you better opportunity to film more stuff in advance. You can do more off-site location work, and you can actually start, you've got so much time, you can actually dig into that more. And I don't think you can do that as much on the main roster. So I think that it allows you maybe to get stuck into stories a little more and actually flesh them out a little bit better and do off-site location filming, and just there's just more opportunity, it feels like, with NXT, with what you can do, compared to the main roster that feels a little bit rushed and a bit more confined. And so I agree. I think if Sean went up, I don't think his booking would be as good. I don't think all of a sudden Raw SmackDown would be, amazing. There'd probably maybe there'd be a percentage improvement, if at all. But let's not forget when Triple H was in NXT. NXT was amazing. NXT Black and Gold was flipping loved. I still think Black and Gold is NXT's best era. 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. That era to me is... I actually think it started to lose its way a little bit 2018, 2019. I sort of felt like it was still at the Full Sail, but I just sort of felt like it was just coming out of a boom period. I think it's a lot of it depends on the talent you've got, of course. But we'd had it so good. 4 horsewomen, Bayley, Asuka, Sammy, Kevin, Balor, Nakamura. Like, we'd had all these people. And obviously we have Undisputed Era. That's awesome. But I sort of felt that by the time we were getting to the late 2018, 2019, it was not kind of hitting the same as 2013, 2014, 2015. Not a problem, just sort of felt, how wrestling is cyclical. Sort of felt like we'd really come to the end of one period and maybe we were about to start another. And wow, how true was that? Because in 2020, we get the pandemic, we have to leave Full Sail and we have to then start doing completely different things. And that's really when we take over the Performance Center, of course. And then, of course, we go through pandemic. We do NXT 2.0. That's Vince's version of it. And, that was just a horror nightmare. And then, of course, we get to coming out of that and going into the Shawn Michaels version, which has just been a real return to glory. For me personally, I don't think as good as Black and Gold, but I don't think it's a million miles away. But yeah, it is true. I mean, I think if you put Sean on the main roster, I don't think you end up with a show that's, just amazing, mind-blowing, and the Attitude Era's back. I just think it's harder for those reasons I said. I think it's much, much harder. But that's the challenge, isn't it? That is the challenge. And, wrestling has its moments, has its off moments. And I think we're just sort of going through what feels a little bit of a lull. I do think it's important to not blow things out of proportion as well, because this is not horrific or anything. It's just I don't think as captivating as 2024, 2023. But, I don't know. Some people out there might feel different now Brock's back. I would say a lot of people feel different now Brock's back. But I'm sure there are people out there that... Because I saw plenty of tweets where people are like, we're back, that were celebrating the fact Brock was returned, and that for them this was, a sign of, yeah, we're back. But not everyone feels that way, of course. Bluebell Sonic said, Days, when CM Punk retires, would he be a booker? Well, I think he wants to go to NXT, actually. I think he sees himself kind of going to NXT and helping. So ideally, I think he would like to be the Shawn Michaels replacement. The problem is I can't see Triple H going anywhere. I don't know if they would have Triple H book. I mean, what you could do is you could have Shawn head up the Raw team. You could have someone head up, like Heyman head up the SmackDown team. You could have Triple H oversee both of them. And then you could give CM Punk NXT. So I don't know. I don't know what I think they'd want to keep him. But he's kind of spoken about the fact that he would love to kind of work NXT, really train that next generation. It's very, very rewarding. Very rewarding. I can totally understand why you would want to do that. If you've had an amazing career where you've been in front of people and you've had all these experiences and you've learned lessons, and not only that, you know of people that have been through things and they've learned lessons, you can kind of, you've got all this knowledge. You just are this fountain of information. Like, there's nothing really nicer than to go up to people that are learning, that are finding their way in the world, to go, listen, here's what I know. Do you know what I mean? And just like put it all out there and, try and make them better, because you can't do it now. Your body's broken down. You're at the end of your run. You love wrestling. You've given your life to wrestling. You want those crowds to still be entertained, and you still want to contribute to those smiles and that joy. You want people to enjoy the product and you want to contribute, but you just can't do it physically anymore. One of the best things to do is to help those that can by passing on the knowledge. And also, you know, if you do that, there's a good chance those same people will be like, you know, praising you in interviews like, God, it taught me so much. So amazing, you know, they went above and beyond and all this sort of stuff. And, you know, that's nice as well, isn't it? To have people saying like how much you helped them. And look at how much people talk lovingly about Dusty, because Dusty did so much in NXT for those kids that came through. You know, they were known as Dusty's kids because he really did do so much. So a lot of people look back on Dusty not just because he's one of the great wrestlers, but because he helped so many of the talent that you see now kind of achieve their dreams. And that is obviously massively appreciated. So, of course, CM Punk would love to be that and do that. Makes sense, doesn't it? So, I think it's something like that. I don't think he necessarily cares so much about I want to be a booker. I think he more wants to help train and improve talent. I don't think he so much cares about, I want to do this story and do that story and all of that. I got to be honest, I can understand that because as much as that would be fun, it's also a lot of aggro, isn't it? It's also a lot of grief because you are going to do stuff that people aren't going to like. You're going to push people don't want pushed. You're going to tell stories people aren't engaged with. Like, there's a lot that can be criticised when it comes to booking. Not so much that can be criticised if you just pull in someone to some side going, listen, I love what you did there, but think about this. Try this, try that. It's just kind of one-on-one coaching, isn't it? And, you know, you're not really going to get that same level of criticism kind of coming back. So I can sort of understand why he would be more excited by that one-on-one coaching, improving, developing, training, teaching, mentoring. Maybe even more so than like trying to come up with, you know, the big stories and whatever. Big Time said, I think Sean is more creative than Triple H. He's like a happy medium between Vince and Triple H. Some goofy, some serious. Sports entertainment and wrestling, says Big Time. AB said, remember, Daze, ratings and attendance are just immature metrics of success. People who don't like Brock Lesnar are the same people that hate Hulk Hogan. They're just sad people, says Johnny. Don't know, but I mean, we're talking about some serious topics there, aren't we? We're talking about some serious things. I don't know that it just boils. It's not it's not hatred just for hatred's sake, is it? They're not hating them because they just hate them. There is a very good reason as to why they feel that way. So I don't know that it's just as simple as saying if you hate Brock, it's kind of, you know, you're a sad person. I think there's clearly things that have happened. There's allegations and, you know, people that have been hurt as to why people have those emotions. Bishop said, Daze, I think the difficult part of NXT is that they are largely performing in front of the same crowds. I don't know that that's the difficult part. I actually think that's an advantage, to be honest with you, because that crowds have got a bit of a community feel. I mean, I don't know if you saw a video that was doing the rounds on social media where they actually played Thriller in the Performance Center and the crowd were getting up, dancing away, and all the other members were clapping along. And I mean, I see a lot of similar faces, same faces in those crowds. I think that much like how we have a community of people that join us on a regular basis, I think that NXT crowd is a community where they kind of meet up and they're like, oh, how's the week been, John? And all that kind of stuff. And I think that is a very passionate, very engaged crowd. I don't think that's a crowd that turn up and are bored and are like, right, I've seen this, do something else now. I think that's a crowd that's very engaged with NXT and are engaged with each other, like, and actually enjoy each other's company. I would not be shocked if some of them meet up before and after and go for beers and, do you know what I mean, like have each other's numbers and stuff like that. But I honestly wouldn't be shocked because I think that because I see so many of the same faces week in, week out, I think there is like a genuine community. And I think I would compare this to when they were at Full Sail. I don't know if you've ever seen this footage. Probably something I should try and find again. But Triple H, when he was booking NXT, he actually went to the local bar where there was all these people from the crowd. And he saw on Facebook that they were going there for a drink. And he turned up. There is footage of Triple H getting out the car, going into this pub where the NXT fans were having a drink. He rocked up and came in and said, I just want to say a massive thank you for all the support and everything. And like all the fans are in shock. There was around about 20, 30 of them there. And they all get pictures with Triple H and everything. And he just saw it on Facebook that they were going for this drink. I think that same sense of community is there now. This would be a lovely thing for Sean to do in 2025 if they are doing that, meeting for drinks and whatever. So I actually think that the fact it's the same crowd each week and that crowd has a community and that crowd is very engaged, I think that probably works in NXT's favour, because there's not bad will, or there's not people taking a chance, or there's not people that are going and, oh no, this isn't for me. This is people that go week in, week out and actually, look forward to it. This is a big part of their week. Like, man, NXT can't wait to see what's going to go down. Blah, 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 blah. So the other thing is when you go from town to town to town, you've got people that are, adults that are there that don't really want to be because they're taking the kids. Do you know what I mean? The kids are excited, but the adults are just sort of sat there. And you don't know what kind of mixture you're going to get of people from different places. Some people are quite quiet. Some people are a bit more engaged. Some are kids. Some are bored parents. Some are adults that are losing their minds. Like, you get a real mixed bag. I don't see loads of kids in that NXT crowd. I just sense like real passionate NXT fans, and as I said, I think there is that community. So that's my reading of it. I think it's actually something that helps NXT, where they don't have to worry about, like, they know next week that crowd's going to be the same and it's going to be engaged. They don't need to worry about having to work too hard to get the crowd reactions. It's quite rare that you will get like the crowd being flat for you've got to be pretty much stinking the place out if that crowd's not going to engage with you, Because to be honest, a lot of that talent meet that crowd before and after the shows. I mean, they probably know quite a lot of them. I'd imagine a lot of them go to the house shows as well. I would. I've said if I lived in Florida, I'd go NXT and I'd go to the house shows, and I'd be really engaged in that community. I'd be really engaged in that community if I lived in Florida. I'd love to go. I mean, I'd 100% go to the Evolve tapings, and I would go to some house show that they were putting on. Whether I'd be able to go to like the NXT ones, I'm not sure, because of streaming, of course. But there would definitely be at least one week I'd be like, guys, sorry, I can't do it this week. I'm actually going to go, and actually go to NXT. If I lived in Florida, I'd definitely do that. Big Time said, I think some of the negatives with the PC is that they have so much control of what talent gets over. Someone they might want to push, but if the crowd has made their mind up, they're not sold. Some of the negatives with the PC is they have so much control over what talent gets over. Someone they want to push, but if the crowd doesn't have their mind made up or not sold. Don't know, but I can't think of really any examples where they've tried to push someone and it's not taken. But then I'd say if they've tried to push someone and it's not taken, I would say that that's probably not, it's not worked. I don't know that, I mean, it might be different on the main roster. I mean, you would have different opinions, different crowds. So maybe there is something in the fact that you could maybe get someone over a bit easier on the main roster. I'm not sure. The only thing I would say is I do believe it to be a very engaged crowd. And I think if NXT do even the bare basics of just trying to build someone, as long as that person isn't dropping the ball, if that person is interacting with the crowds, has got a catchphrase and is, putting on some decent matches, I can't really see why that person wouldn't connect. So I think if WWE tried to push someone and the NXT crowd doesn't take for it, I'd say there's probably a reason as to why they've not taken for them. So, I don't know. I mean, look, they're getting on the road and they are mixing the crowd up a little bit. We know that in a couple of weeks they're going to, is it Philadelphia? And we were at Houston not long ago. So I think WWE are trying to give the Performance Center talent a taste of staying in hotels, being on the road, having to travel, but also getting out there so that NXT fans in other states can see the NXT superstars. I mean, they used to come to the UK and I used to flip and love it. I went and saw them a few times when they came to the UK. There's a video on the channel of me going in 2016 to Bournemouth to see the likes of Shinsuke, Finn Balor, and that's on the go. You got to go all the way back to 2016. For some reason, I broke that up into like 3 parts. I really don't know why. I don't know why I did that and why I didn't just do it as one video. But they used to come to, I saw NXT in 2016 in Bournemouth. And it was awesome. And they just haven't been over since before the pandemic, which was a real shame. We even had a takeover. We had one of their PLEs. Obviously, NXT TakeOver London when Balor came out as Jack the Ripper, which was pretty cool. Right. Let's get a few final thoughts. Do we think that the backlash is justified for TKO now telling fans to cough up $30 to watch PLEs after 11 years of paying $9.99? I think that it's a shame and I think it's disappointing and I understand the backlash and I am on the fan side with that. So people that are kind of sad about it, complaining about it, I'm on their side because they... for me, the fans are, the lifeblood of this, and we want as many people watching this as possible, yeah? I mean, we want as many people going to the shows as possible, right? If WWE does a SummerSlam and there's 20,000 people that go, everyone will use that as that's not very good, is it? But, you want it to be 80,000. I mean, I don't know about you. We had 55,000 in the stadium for SummerSlam. I'd have loved it to have been 80. Yeah, we want as many people to go and enjoy the live shows as possible. We want those live shows to be as big as possible. We want as many, they love bragging about viewership. I mean, people look at views all the time. People in the community are very quick if the views are down to go, we've got a problem. So you can't, on the one hand, use numbers like attendances and viewership, and if it's down, treat it as a negative. But then, on the other hand, question, is it a problem that we're now putting PLEs behind a $30 paywall a month? Do you know what I mean? Like the two marry up. So I kind of think I'm with the fans. I want the fans to have the cheapest ticket prices possible, right? Unless you're in the front row where, I don't care how much you pay because you got money. So I've said, charge them $50,000 for front row tickets. If that means the people at the back only have to pay $20, brilliant. So for me, I want the cheapest tickets. I want WWE to be as available and as easy and as cheap to watch as possible. I just want it to go out there to the masses. I mean, if I had my way, put it on free TV, put it on terrestrial TV, let everyone flip and watch it and enjoy it. And let's, get as many people engaged with it as possible. Yeah. Wrestling has always been a cheap form of entertainment. It's always been something that if it's coming to your area, should we go to wrestling? To get the kids to go along. I mean, it ain't much to have set a ring up. I mean, really, the cost is coming from the wrestlers and, the kind of crazy wages that you have to pay them now. I mean, those wages are, I know, they're highly trained, and I don't begrudge wrestlers being paid a really, really good wage. But I don't know. I mean, that's not going to stop, is it? Just like in sports, with footballers and everything, wages are going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And it's getting to the point where it's a bit silly, to be honest. I mean, we're talking about people now earning money that, in a year is going to see them and their kids all right. And it's year after year after year. I mean, it's generational wealth, I kind of think that that has to be paid for somewhere. And that money is coming from the TV deals, but ultimately it comes from the fans. If a company like ESPN are going to spend 1.6 billion, then yes, people are going to want their money back. And part of that money is going to come from it's going to cost you $29.99 to watch it, right? So it's one of those where the expenditure of the wages, I think, is a problem. I mean, that's something that just keeps going up and up and up. But it's a problem in all sports. Ultimately, the fans are going to pay with high ticket prices and pay for, you need this to watch that, you need that to watch that, you need this membership, you need that membership, blah 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 blah. And honestly, I think the right side to be on is on the side of the fans, and the side of the fans is, yeah, if you were paying $9.99 and now you're going to have to pay $29.99, no, I don't like it. I think that is going to result in some people, sadly, some kids no longer being able to watch because their parents aren't going to be able to afford ESPN. Their parents aren't going to be able to, you know, with the cost of living and everything that we are, everything that's going on, there's parents out there that, you know, are living from paycheck to paycheck. Maybe they can afford Netflix. Maybe they can afford Peacock. I don't know that they can afford ESPN. So I think, I don't think it's right to go off on the fans. That doesn't feel right to me. That doesn't feel comfortable. I don't know why we would do that. I don't know why we would go after fans that now are worried that they're not going to be able to enjoy WWE anymore. That does not seem like the right target for us to go after. So that's why, for me, it is not great news today, even though it doesn't affect me. It's not news that I welcome. And but it's also not news that I'm surprised by, or it's also not news that, if I'm going to be completely honest, the pushback, I think the right pushback, the acceptable pushback for me would be, what can WWE do? They've got offers on the table. They have to choose which offer they think is the best one for them or the right one for them. And if this offer is, it's going to be $1 billion, right, to stay with, we'll give you $1 billion if you stay with Peacock. But over here, ESPN say we'll give you $1.6 billion. How many of us can honestly, hand on our heart, say that we would turn down the 1.6 and take the 1 instead? Like, I think a lot of us, for the good of the business and whatever, would take the 1.6. So I think WWE have got an option, and they've took the option that gives them the most money. And I think that I can understand why they would do that. And it's one of those where it's just a shame, isn't it, really? There's no winning here. There's no winning on this. It's just a shame, really, that people now are going to have to spend more money. But I do understand that it's a business. I mean, that is the pushback. That's what you'll see. The WWE defenders, which I ain't got no time for those people, right? To be honest with you, because I am a massive WWE fan. So you don't need to defend WWE against me, because I'm a WWE fan. I've been watching since the early 90s. So if you're someone that's kind of fighting the battle on behalf of WWE, I'm not the right person for you to go after, because I'm not trying to tear down I'm not an AEW fan in disguise, right? I'm actually someone that's in the WWE fan club. So if I'm voicing my concerns, I'm probably not the best person for those people to come after, because I'm not coming from a place that they probably think I'm coming from. They probably think I'm like, oh, you're just an AEW fan, you know? Why do you even bother watching if you're going to criticize it so much? Like, I'm coming from it. I'm inside the camp, yeah? I'm inside the WWE fandom, and I'm saying, don't like it, because you're hurting our people. You're hurting the fans. You're charging them more when we should be making it ideally more affordable. But I do get it as well. You know, if the pushback is, well, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? Just turn down a big contract. It's like, well, no, I've not said that. I've said I get it. I've said that I know that the offer was on the table and they've taken it, but it doesn't mean I've got to like it, does it? Doesn't mean I've got to do cartwheels about it or try and spin it as some sort of positive. So, there we go. Those are my thoughts. So, it's one of those where I'm sorry to those that it's going to affect. And honestly, if WWE end up losing some viewers out of this, then maybe they do. And maybe that's been factored in, and maybe the 1.6 kind of takes that into consideration, you know. So it is what it is. I can't really say much more than that. I mean, it really is what it is. It's not great news, and I just hope that not too many people are going to be affected by it. And if you can get some sort of VPN and use the UK Netflix, then hopefully that can be a solution for some people. I'd hate to think that there are some kids now. I don't think any of us want to think that there's kids now that can't watch. Imagine that, like if you was a kid and you was really loving it, and I'm sorry, son, we just can't afford the $300 a year that it's going to cost to get ESPN, you know? I think I'm really sympathetic because I've actually been in that boat. Like, I think I'm probably more sympathetic because I grew up in that boat. We couldn't afford it. I didn't have access to the shows. I had to wait for tapes from my uncle because we couldn't afford the sports channels. So I know what it's like to not be able to afford it. I know what it's like to not have. I was really fortunate that my uncle could afford it. And so because my uncle had money and he was able to afford it, at least I was still getting videotapes. So at least I was still able to get the content, you know? So I suppose in a way I'm fortunate in that regards. Oh, make no mistake about it. I mean, I'm not sad about the fact that I didn't have it as a kid because I found a workaround. And it was, you know, waiting made it special. So, you know, in a roundabout way, it still worked out fine. But I grew up without the ability to watch whenever I wanted. I couldn't turn the TV on and just, right, let's watch WrestleMania. I had to get the tape from my uncle. And, you know, it's a shame. It's just a shame. There's not really much more to add, is there? Johnny said, my dad likes keeping stuff cheap. He's going to give me a VPN so that I can watch all the pay-per-views. I hope that it'll work, but we had to spend money on ESPN, then we will, says Johnny. Big Time said, the more people that use VPNs, the money is not going into the pockets of the partners that's paying WWE. It's going to go into the VPN pockets, which would be a win for them. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm not bothered if it goes into the pockets of the VPN rather than going into the pockets of ESPN. WWE have got the 1.6 billion out of ESPN. So it's up to ESPN now to make sure that they get that money back. And so, you know, if they're going to do that by charging fans $30, I can't in good faith turn around, sit here and go, guys, please don't do that. Because it's not fair to ESPN. I mean, how am I meant to have that conversation? How am I meant to turn around to people that are going to struggle to afford that a month and go, guys, come on, that's not cool. You're cheating ESPN out of money now, and that's just not cool. I mean, I would say that if your option are I get a VPN and I watch UK Netflix, or the alternative is I just don't watch it at all because I can't afford it, then I would argue that ESPN are not being cheated out of any money by those people. And if those of you that could afford it because you've got the money are going to use a VPN instead, well, so be it. That is the world we live in, isn't it? And I'm sure ESPN had to kind of take that into consideration when they made the bid as well. I know what I would do. I ain't got no doubt about what I would be doing if I was in America. I'd be flipping VPN in and getting Netflix. No dramas. Daze, off topic. Are we willing to make a 2K24 match that I could play? Am I willing to do that? I don't have it, but I don't have it. I don't have the 2K game. Big Time said, I read reports and articles that NFL and NBA lost millions of fans after spreading so many of their games across different platforms. Fans just couldn't follow it anymore. Oh, I wonder if that is a danger, actually. I wonder if that is a danger. Because you could understand that with, like, I mean, it is confusing. UK-wise, beautiful. Netflix, right? But in America, yeah, I mean, for someone that you have to kind of sit down and go, okay, where's NXT again? Raw, I think, is Netflix. SmackDown is USA Network. Back catalogue, we're not sure. It's Peacock at the moment. You've got WWE Evolve. It might be moving to ESPN, but I heard earlier it's not. Pay-per-views move to ESPN. And it's kind of like you have to... Where's Evolve? Evolve's on Tubi. I mean, it really is kind of spread out, isn't it? But again, listen, if you're WWE, I don't think you think so much about that, just like how NBA and NFL haven't. You just think, okay, Raw's coming up. Who's going to give us the most money for it? And I think it kind of comes down to that. And really, one of the only other considerations is, okay, if we go to that and we take that money, what's the projection on the amount of viewers? What do we think it's going to do? How many people are going to, tune in and watch? Blah, 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 blah. Spawny Boy said the only way to fix that would be to keep the price on Peacock. The subscribers can elect to cancel Peacock or keep it if they want to. Yeah, well, I mean, it's going, isn't it? ESPN next year. And I think it is just what it is. I can't really offer any more than that. Right, okay, that main event match you lot said was good 94, and I can definitely see that. William said, what if you share your address and you allow me and you to split the cost of watching? Can't do password sharing anymore, can you, buds? They cracked down on that, Netflix. No more password sharing. Johnny said, I think a lot of people might get VPNs here in America. Yeah, I agree. I think they will. I am a fan because I can get rid of my $80 cable package each year during the sports season, says Robbie. Mr. B Light said Mickey Mouse face will be in the ring next year. Oh, what? Because of Disney? Because they own ESPN, don't they? Mate, we could be in for some wild crossovers. That could be really good. Right, there we go. Let's wrap things up there so that we can get unseens done and stuff like that. So, yes, appreciate people joining us. Shame that Evolve wasn't a little bit better. Match quality was a little bit below where we were hoping, but oh well, on we go. Next week looks all right. Next week looks all right. We got some interesting matches there. And I'm going to go work on Unseen, kind of see where the conversation is, see what's being said. And hopefully you lot have a good evening. So appreciate people joining us. And I will see you again next time. Bye for now.